Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
You're listening to the Sports Blast.
We got entertainment for the whole family.
With Aashish Arma.
They lost. You know why they lost? Because Tony Romo could not get it done. That's been his track record his entire career, is that he chokes. Yes, he deserves all the blame in the world.
Brian Roach.
Can we just call him Who Man? I'm just going to call him Who Man.
Call him Who Man.
Yeah.
That's the way the broadcasters get away with it, guys.
We would just be idiots saying nonsense.
David Pollard.
Louis Erickson's got to keep his head up there. That's Hockey 101. You learn that in mites. Keep your head up or you're going to get decked.
Okay. All right. Good talk, Coach. Thanks.
And Mark Lozelle.
And Ainge pulled a trade to get draft picks. For what reason?
To use them.
To use them. Do you use them in trades or do you use them as draft picks?
Well, you can both. You can use it, but both.
Only on ESPN New Hampshire.
Give me baseball and hockey.
Crab cake and football.
How do you like them, man?
ESPN New Hampshire, 900 AM Nashua.
Sorry, Dave. Finish your thought. What were you saying?
I forget.
And 1250 AM Manchester.
This is awesome.
No, that doesn't work. No, don't ruin it. No.
And ESPNNewHampshire.com.
Game on! Game on!
Hour number 2 here on the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire, ESPNNewHampshire.com. We'll have Luke Hughes of Nesson.com joining us momentarily. I think he's hitting the slopes or skiing or something.
He's skiing somewhere up on a mountain right now.
Yeah, somewhere cold,
Yeah.
like New England. Does he
Cold
ski?
and fun.
Does he ski like up in Sunapee or whatever?
Probably in Maine somewhere.
Yeah. So when he takes a break, to get some
When
fried
he
dough
gets
and hot
down
chocolate,
down the bunny slope, he'll call us.
he'll probably give us a call. But
Black Diamonds.
In the meantime, I want to go back to this game. Obviously, the game tomorrow, the AFC Championship game that I think we've all been waiting for, just anxiously as the clock counts down. We're about 27 hours away, if my math is right.
Yeah, a little more than a full day.
Trying to pull a Rajon Rondo there.
Yeah.
Count the seconds. until the game.
As we talked about on our last show on WXBR, I'm not the greatest at math or telling time. So
None of us are.
But I want to talk first, guys, about the running game and how it carried the Patriots last week. One thing that I'll ask Luke about is the 235 yards and 6 touchdowns scored on the ground. Who has the advantage right now between New England and Denver? I'd have to say it's probably the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I at least like the running game of the Patriots because of how versatile it is and the amount of weapons that really your opposing defense has to defend against. When you have the guy in Stephen Ridley, who's an excellent first down, second down back, he can pick up those yards on the inside of defenses. He's a quick cut. He can make those moves, get you a couple yards on first, second down, and then you have Shane Vereen, who I am a huge fan of as a third down back. I think that he's a guy that, again, you got to plan for. And then you got LeGarrette Blount, who's just a monster, who can run you right down, and he's got pretty good speed for such a big guy. Once he gets going, he's like a freight train, So I love the running scheme that the Patriots have come up with this year. It's kind of run by committee, and it's not going to be an easy thing to plan for if you're the Denver Broncos defense.
I said this once. I'm going to say it again. Earth, wind, and fire.
Yes.
We
Yes,
talked
you did say
Derek
that.
Ward, Shane Vereen, Brandon Jacobs, LeGarrette Blount, and Ahmad Bradshaw, Stephen Ridley. They all have like the same attributes on the field as a running back, and they're good blocking running backs. So Tom Brady's going to need more protection this week more than anything. So they're going to have to play that type of role too.
603-883-9900. I think this team is at its best when Stephen Ridley is the feature back. I know over the last 3 or 4 games here, LeGarrette Blount has really busted onto the scene. And in the first really half of the season, he was all right. He was just there. He was a good change-it-up back. But recently, he's really come on strong. But I think this team is at its best when Stephen Ridley is getting his touches, getting the ball, and obviously not fumbling, which he didn't do last week.
Right, and he's been much better with the ball control in past weeks. I can't remember actually the last time we saw him fumble. I forget the last game, which is a good thing because if I can't remember the last time Stephen Ridley fumbled, it means he's kind of correcting those fumbling problems that he had in the beginning of the year. If you don't remember, if you're listening, Stephen Ridley was benched for the fumbling issues. It was so agonizing to watch this guy run the football. It was always, you're always worried. he's going to leave the ball outside his body. He's not going to tuck it in. He's going to try and spin around, and he's going to have the ball knocked out of his arms.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that because we're watching a replay on NFL Network right now of the Denver Patriots game from earlier this year, and Stephen Ridley on this game replay right now. There it is.
Here.
There's the fumble right there. It just pops out. Whoop! There it is.
There's the spin,
the
and the arm is
irony.
loose from the body. There it is.
There it is. We are literally watching a Stephen Ridley fumble on
I'm just
TV
glad
right
he
now.
called Folk and learned how to hold the ball properly.
Falk?
Kevin Falk?
Yeah, whatever his name
I
is.
thought you said Nick Folk. You know?
Yeah.
What we call him?
Falk,
too.
whatever.
The Red Sox closer from
Yeah.
a decade ago?
No, but LeGarrette Blount actually thrived when he was in the role of punt returns and kick returns. And I think that actually boosted his confidence as a running back, too. You know, I feel like it's good practice when you're a punt returner or a kick returner because you find the seams. And, yeah, it's not the same offensive line as to special teams line, but, I mean, he still has that vision.
Yeah, the guy is big, too. I mean, who wants... I'll equate him
No
to...
one wants to tackle him.
I'm going to make a hockey analogy here and compare him to Milan Lucic. Nobody wants to get near the guy because he's so imposing. And guess what?
Great analogy.
Huge, and he's got speed to burn. Like, once those guys get going, again, freight train. Nobody wants to
Downhill.
touch LeGarrette Blount when he's running the football at full speed.
They'll get hurt.
You'll get hurt.
And LeGarrette Blount really surprised me with the speed that he displayed. I don't think of him as a fast guy. I remember earlier this year, I was cursing the Patriots. Why do you have him on kick returns? Why do you do it? But recently he's actually, and recently they had Josh Boyce doing it before he got hurt. But LeGarrette Blount has really burst
Edelman
onto
did
the
it a
scene.
little too, didn't he?
Punt returns.
Oh, punt returns, yeah.
But yeah, no, I just said, why don't you put Devin McCourty back there? LeGarrette Blount is not fast. And again, as I was saying, for the first half of the season, he really wasn't the guy that we've seen over the last 3 weeks here.
Yeah, I mean, totally. He's on fire right now. Let's say that he's feeling it. If this were NFL Blitz right now, he would be the guy on fire. That's what's happening to LeGarrette Blount right now. So I love the way that he's playing. I think he is feeling it. And when you get a player in a rhythm like that, you kind of just ride it out until the guy stops feeling it. Hopefully, he's got it going until the playoff run is over.
He's not a force to be reckoned with. That's for sure. I saw the Sports Illustrated cover. It said like blunt force or something.
Blunt
like that.
force trauma.
force trauma.
Drama. I think it said drama.
Drama.
Yeah. Drama.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna give you drama. He's gonna bulldoze you through some tackles, and you better be ready to wrap him up by the legs because he's a big guy.
When you have two guys like that, it's remarkable how it's easy to open up the passing game.
And you look at this Patriots team, I think this team resembles the old championship teams from earlier in the decade more so than anything. I mean,
Not defensively.
Yeah, not on the defensive
necessarily.
side.
No, not
Not even
defensively,
close on
obviously.
defense.
No, but I'm just talking about the lack of superstars. Outside of Tom Brady on this team, can you really call Aqib Talib a superstar yet? No, he's a star.
Well, that's why I think you
know?
can't compare Tom Brady and Peyton Manning because Peyton Manning always has these
Exactly.
star
You can always-
wideouts
you can
behind, around him.
You can always go back to that argument. You look outside of Tom Brady, there's not one guy on this team, outside of maybe Logan Mankins, who's a superstar left guard, that you can really call an absolute stud.
Talib?
Not yet. He's a star in the making. He's a star this year.
Is he a Pro Bowler?
He's a Pro Bowler, and did he make the All-Pro team?
Yeah, second team.
Yeah. So he's a star this year, but to me, to be an absolute stud, to be an absolute superstar, you have to be an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler multiple times. So he's in the making. This is a team that really reminds me of the 2002 squad that won Super Bowl 36.
Yeah, Aqib Talib had a great last season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's actually been transferring over back to the Patriots side of things. And, the secondary has built some momentum. Logan Ryan actually getting confidence. Watching Aqib Talib helps. And, the safeties doing their job right. Devin McCourty, he's staying strong. So, yeah, the secondary is doing good.
And I think that Aqib Talib, before the hip injury this year, was on that road towards becoming an elite cornerback in the league. When we saw him shut down Jimmy Graham in the game that he was actually injured in against the Saints, that to me was the telltale sign. This guy has arrived. He's going to be an elite corner going forward for this team. He never really got back to that point after sustaining the injury, which again, it's an injury that he's had in the past. Definitely re-aggravated it during that Saints game, and I liked how he was playing. I'm hoping that now that it's playoff time, it's crunch time, we get to see him step back up into that role where he is the Patriots' elite cornerback, and he can help the team shut down a powerful offense like the Denver Broncos have. So I like I like this defensive core, even though it's not the big names. You're not used to them, but if you remember, that was never the way that it was before the Patriots won their Super Bowls over a decade ago, too. Those were just non-names. No one knew them. They became the big names.
603-883-9900. Absolutely no doubt about it. And, he's one guy that I think is absolutely unexpendable. I don't even know which variation of that word is. Inexpendable?
Yeah, I think it's
Someone looked
expendable.
that unexpendable.
It's
Whatever.
unexpendable.
Whatever. Yeah.
No.
Just no.
You can't add two prefixes to a word if you're not sure how it's said.
Unexpendable.
I think, it's in. I think it's in.
Because he's a guy that he's
too many.
Aqib Talib is a guy who's a free agent at the end of the year, and I don't want to jump the gun here and start talking about the offseason, but you got to start thinking you cannot lose this guy, and what's it going to take to keep him around?
The tag.
Franchise tag him or Edelman. Who's more important?
I would sign Edelman long term.
You think Aqib Talib would go for the tag?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he wants a long-term deal.
He wants to get paid, too.
He's a young guy.
We can't lose another guy. We already lost Woodhead. And
yeah, but it's not a matter of you guys. It's
not.
It's not a matter of the Patriots. It's a matter of Aqib Talib. He actually makes his choice. And
well, I mean, if you know the Patriots and their offers, they're going to offer Aqib Talib less money most likely than he feels he deserves, because that's the way the Patriots do things. They set a price ceiling and they don't budge at all.
Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Asante Samuel,
Wes
Aqib
Welker.
Talib. Yeah, Wes Welker. And you look at the depth that they have in the secondary, I feel good. Logan Ryan, Alfonso Dennard. Looks good, assuming that he doesn't.
I really would have liked to have Samuel for a longer term than we did.
Of course I would have. Of course I would have.
But that's not the Patriots. Again, this is something that actually kind of ticks me off when it comes to the Patriots, because I feel as though they haven't really surrounded their core, which is, let's face it, Tom Brady has been their core for the past decade plus. They haven't really surrounded Brady with the weapons, with the exception of the 2007 year where he went out and broke every record in the NFL book. So, I mean, I like what they're doing again this year, but again, it's the role players. They've let their star players go, and now here we are, AFC Championship, because of good coaching, because the role players have stepped up. But is it enough to get them to the promised land? I don't know.
I don't know about that, but you look at the fact that they lost Wes Welker, they lost Rob Gronkowski, and they're still in the AFC Championship game. That just speaks volumes to the fact, or to rather Belichick and what he's been able to do with this team.
Right. Belichick, the coach, I don't question him. As a GM, I question him sometimes.
Dave, I'm actually going to disagree with you about the defensive side of the ball when you said that they didn't have as much talent as they did.
Mm-hmm.
They had Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Vince Wilfork, Kyle Love. They had a bunch of good players. Asante Samuels.
Kyle Love was more recent. He was over the last 3-4 years. He was pretty good. I liked him, but.
Yeah,
He wasn't a part of that core
See,
group.
I'm not a Patriots expert. I'm actually a Dolphins.
Yeah, we got a Dolphins fan here.
Crying shame in the last two games.
we cry over him at night.
Yeah.
We're like, why?
You should be accustomed to that, though, right? Aren't the Dolphins as accustomed to losing as Jack Del Rio is?
Not as much. Not as
recent past.
In recent past, yes.
Aren't
sorry,
all
Mark,
AFC East teams besides the Patriots knowing about losing?
Yeah, this is the guy that actually went down for the Dolphins-Patriots game earlier this year. Comes back with a Heartline jersey and wears that to one of our shows.
And they won.
That was the game where
that was their Super Bowl, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I know it. That was the game where the holder got the football.
They're
to
playing
the face.
golf
Yeah.
now.
That was one of the funniest things
Which was
I've ever seen.
hilarious in slow motion. That was an awesome. That was similar to the butt fumble for me, but not nearly as good as the butt fumble.
Yeah, it was Fields that got hit in the head. Thanks for reminding me.
The face
Dave.
fumble. That's what we can call that one. The
Face
face
fumble?
fumble.
Yeah.
Nose fumble.
How long was that on Not Top 10?
Not that long.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
it didn't. It
that's
didn't
the
make
point.
it nearly as long.
It's
as
because
the
those
butt
two
fumble.
Florida players were grabbing onto each other.
It's because
Yeah.
the Miami
And blocking
Dolphins.
each other.
The Miami Dolphins weren't.
71 weeks. The butt fumble is on ESPN's Not Top 10 as the number one.
They had to retire
top
it
play.
because it.
Yeah, because nothing could beat it. Because it was literally one of the worst plays in pro sports of all time.
It's because the Dolphins aren't as bad as the Jets were.
Right.
I mean, Mark Sanchez is Mark
Well,
Sanchez.
and the
Sanchez-
goofiness and Mark Sanchez.
Ryan
yeah.
Tannehill, come on. He's a little better than
agree.
Mark Sanchez.
I don't think Mark Sanchez watched SportsCenter on Fridays just for that reason.
That's the only reason why I watch Sports Center.
Well, he's in the Hall of Shame right now. So.
Of course.
Well, and his career is pretty much over. That's gonna be like the lasting memory of Mark Sanchez is the butt fumble that's hanging up in the rafters of SportsCenter.
And speaking of Jets quarterbacks, before we go to break, did you guys hear about what happened to Geno Smith?
Yeah.
He got into an altercation at the airport. He had to be escorted off the plane by police or something like that.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know of this.
Then another Jets player got in trouble, but we're not going to talk about that one. Kellen Winslow had his his little experience.
The Jets celebrated when they went 8-8, guys.
Yeah,
So-
no, and
Yeah.
Rex Ryan gives that speech. He's like, I know I'm getting fired, and then he gets an extension.
for him.
I can't believe it. What
I
are
don't
they
mi- I
thinking?
don't
What is
hate
Woody
that.
Johnson
What
doing?
did he
I don't
do
think
to
he's a
deserve
bad.
that?
I don't think he's a bad coach.
He went
honestly.
8-8 with a team that should have been like 5-11.
Right, but see
Yeah.
there you go. Right there is the difference between an organization like the Patriots and the Jets. They're over the hill right now about going 8-8, and they re-sign their coach for an 8-8 season. The Patriots wouldn't even dream of having a season like that and celebrating about it.
Yeah, well, what do you do? Anyways, apologies. We were not able to locate Luke Hughes. He's probably too high up in the mountains right now. But
Yeah,
we'll be
service is
back.
bad.
We'll be back with 5 questions here on the Sports Blast.
Start your new year in a brand new car from Peters Kia of Nashua, where you'll find a great selection of fun-to-drive vehicles for every budget, including the totally transformed and ultra-affordable 2014 Kia Soul. Lease for just $199 a month, or purchase starting at just $14,700. And that includes Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and Peters' complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty, so you can really drive your new Kia forever, completely worry-free. Stop in or shop online at peterskia.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Colin Cowherd.
George Steinbrenner and Jerry Buss were coastal ownership icons. Look at both organizations since they've left and handed it to their kids. In Jim Buss's case, I think he's a nice guy. But when you grow up with a wealthy, popular dad, it's a very comfortable life. That's the biggest problem. Most of the Steinbrenner money, the Jerry Buss money, some of it comes from fear of failure. Growing up through the Depression. These kids grew up driving BMWs, country clubs, horses. It's a different life. I'm not blaming the Steinbrenner kids. I'm not blaming Jim Buss. I would have accepted it too. But if my dad had to grind through the Depression and grind to be great his entire career, then the kid who grew up private school, prepping at Laguna Beach, BMW, it's not the same DNA. It's not fear-based. It's comfortable.
Now at the Home Depot, save 10% on select carpet purchases with your Home Depot consumer credit card. So, let's do new carpet that's soft on our feet and our wallets. Soft Spring is surprisingly soft and downright durable, so you get both on a budget. Let's do this. Save 10% on select carpet purchases with your Home Depot credit card. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through January 22nd. U.S. only, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
I run my business from home. I can respond to emails in my PJs, but my clients don't know that. While some entrepreneurs might have nightmares about their kids answering important calls, I don't worry. I've got my secret weapon, Regis.
With the Regis Virtual Office, you get personalized call answering in your company's name, a prestigious business address, access to meeting rooms, and use of a private office. It's all the benefits of a full-time office, just without the cost. Get 1 month free when you visit regis.com/sportsnow or call 1-800-OFFICES.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
The New England Patriots are back in the AFC Championship. They will be taking on the Denver Broncos tomorrow. It will be the 15th time that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning will face off for their respective teams. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Following the AFC matchup will be the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. That game begins at 6:30. New Celtics captain Rajon Rondo made his first appearance of the season for the Celtics last night, but the Green fell to the Lakers 107-104 at the TD Garden. Rondo finished with 8 points and 4 assists. The Boston Bruins are 2-3 in their last 5 games. They look to get back to their winning ways against a familiar foe on Sunday as they journey to Chicago to play the Blackhawks for the first time since losing Game 6 in last year's Cup final match. Face-off for Sunday's game is at 12:30. Those are your blasted weekend updates. Be sure to check out our website at www.sportsblast.co. Listen in on ESPN Radio or the ESPN Radio app. Like us on Facebook. Tweet us at SportsBlastNH. I'm David Pollard. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
It's time for 5 questions.
5 is right out. Man, let me ask you something.
I got a question.
Right here on ESPN New Hampshire.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question.
900 AM Nashua.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. Calm down.
1250 AM Manchester.
What did you say?
And ESPNNewHampshire.com.
Thank you for all your cooperation.
Man, it's really coming down out there. You guys looked outside?
It's snowy out behind us.
I had no idea it was going to snow today.
It's a lovely view, though.
When I drove up,
I call it white stuff because I'm sick of the word snow.
I'm tired of snow. I'm ready for the spring. I'm telling you.
You got a ways to go.
Welcome back to the Sports Blast, ESPN New Hampshire and ESPNNewHampshire.com. It is time for 5 questions. It's a segment we did at AM 1460 WXBR where we basically have a rotation every week. One of us hosts 5 questions where you can ask whatever you want, and this week it's Dave. So you asked
What's going on?
Yeah, you asked the rest of us.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we do. And all right, let's get started. Question number 1. I'm excited.
So, question number 1. Clayton Kershaw recently received a 7-year contract worth $217 million, which is valued at $30.7 million per year. My question to you guys...
Robinson Cano must be angry.
Yeah. My question to you guys, what would you value at $30.7 million a year? If you could buy one thing for $30.7 million, what would it be?
An insanely humongous mansion. I don't think there's a house in the world that costs $30 million. But
I buy a
mansion
town.
you get lost in, right?
I buy a town.
A whole town?
Yep.
An entire town for $30 million?
Would you? That seems like a lot of maintenance, like more than a mansion.
No, my question...
I don't have to maintenance everything. I just buy it. And
You're going to pay people to do it?
I have a counter question to Dave's question is there any one thing that costs $30 million?
I would buy an island.
No. A sports team. No, a sports team would definitely cost more than that.
I like the island.
I would buy an island.
Definitely more than $30 million.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'd buy the Jaguars.
I wouldn't. Honestly, if I could prepay for an island and I would never have to pay anything else again, could just live there for the rest of my life, and people would be there to serve me, living off that $30.7 million.
Yeah,
I'd buy an island.
I would share the wealth too. I think buying an island is an excellent idea.
Well, you can't share the wealth. That's the
It's
deal.
all
You get
yours.
You get $30.7 million. You're
Just
being
me.
greedy with it.
Just me.
Just you. No charities. No
jeez.
nothing.
Not even family.
No.
You
All
know
right.
what? A jet.
So
private jet.
yeah, I get a yacht, get a mansion. Maybe buy part of a team.
You have to buy one
maybe
thing.
a soccer.
Yeah. What would you value at $30.7 million?
A jet.
As the Dodgers, as they
that's tough.
valued Clayton Kershaw per year. That's crazy.
We talked about that house in blank check.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that house. But
I would buy the
He
smart
wants the
house.
water slide.
How about
Yeah,
the
you
I
want
want
smart
the
house?
water slide. I want to slide from my room to my pool in my backyard.
You remember that movie?
The lady in Smart House scares me.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
Well,
I
just
wouldn't-
don't
I
get her
wouldn't want
angry.
Smart House.
Well, she thinks she's...
Make sure you clean up after yourself.
That's
That's
the
what she
problem
cares
with
about.
technology, though, is that it's going to revolt against you. I don't want a smart house. I want a dumb house that I can, like Mark said,
I don't
slide
know.
out of my
I
bedroom
don't-
window into the pool.
I don't know
not
if this
dumb,
is,
though.
I don't know if this is weird. I haven't watched that Disney original movie Smart House in like 15 years.
Years.
But for some reason, the lasting memory I have in my mind of that woman, that fake thing, she reminds me of Flo from the Progressive.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yes. Doesn't she kind of look like
I think she might be her.
No, she's
No,
definitely
she's
not
a
Flo.
comedian.
She's definitely not Flo. All right, so I think that's question one. Let's go on to question two.
Question one is done. All right, so I want you guys to think back on your old game console systems for a second here, because PS4 and Xbox One are huge now. You still can't buy a PS4 in the stores. And it's a ton of money. So I want you guys to tell me, what's the most fun you've ever had playing video games for what system?
N64, it'd come down to Star Fox 64 and Mario Kart, without a doubt.
That's a good call, Aashish. I was a big fan of Xbox, NBA Live games and stuff like that.
The early Xbox.
Yeah, I would do NBA All-Star Weekend all the time, three-point competition, slam dunk competition, all that. And then pickup games on All-Star Baseball 2001.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a street baseball game. You get to pick up whoever you wanted. I got Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, A-Rod when he was good, Roger
when
Clemens.
he wasn't roided up.
The trade restrictions were not difficult in this game.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
PS2, FIFA. I would play FIFA like non-stop.
I like the old consoles because there was something about how simple they used to be. Now, like
generic.
you get Madden now. You got a million things you got to do. There's audibles all over the place. A bunch of different controls. You know, it's almost too realistic. I feel as though video games need a bit of non-realism in them to really be fun. So I love the N64 games.
I really like the design though of like real players. Like you can actually see the players now.
Yeah,
like,
the graphics are fantastic.
Oh, amazing!
Outrageous.
Crash Bandicoot, Rayman.
Oh, Crash Bandicoot. That was an original PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Right? Man,
I still play those.
What about, hey guys, do you ever play Nightfire on PS2?
Nightfire was
James
a
Bond?
007 game.
Yeah,
The best 007 game is still GoldenEye.
Hands down.
By far.
You just like playing with the inflated heads.
Yeah.
Odd job.
All right. Next question.
All right. So.
You know, what's weighing on my mind is how soon I can get a Bud Light in my mouth.
That actually sounds pretty
Perfect lead into this next question. The Pats and the Broncos are playing each other. So I want you guys to tell me, if you could step into the shoes of one of these quarterbacks, literally take over their body and mind and be them for a day.
Like Tom Brady. Look at who he's married to.
Well, yeah, true. This is who would you choose and why? So
that's my answer
that's
right
who
there.
You would choose because of Giselle.
This is like the jersey from Disney Channel. You
right.
remember that?
Right.
I remember that show.
Or like Mike.
Like Mike too.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go Tom Brady too. Just the way he controls himself and in the pocket and stuff. I would try to mimic that, and you know.
You would have his talent, so you wouldn't have to mimic it. You'd be him.
You wouldn't want to be
he's a winning
funnier guy in Peyton Manning, more beloved around the country.
Peyton
you see him on SNL a couple times he hosted?
I'd be Peyton
guy.
Manning because didn't he make more money on his contract?
Well, yeah.
So you're about the money.
Yeah.
He was the highest paid quarterback in history until
And
Joe
also,
Flacco.
I'd love to be on SNL and be in that commercial with the kids and just be like...
People love Peyton Manning on SNL.
Spend time with your kids so Peyton Manning doesn't have to.
Also, those Papa John's commercials, I'd probably eat every single pizza there is in my way.
If I was him, I wouldn't do those commercials. Just be like... No, that's
Papa
beneath
John's
me.
Probably gets free pizza.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you get free pizza. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah.
I eat pizza for life.
So you're right.
If I'm a football player, why would I need
Peyton
pizza?
Manning for the free pizza from Papa John's. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so in the movie world lately, the animated movie Frozen is causing a lot of buzz out there. I haven't seen it personally, but it got me thinking back on some of the old animated movies that I used to watch when I was growing up or more recently. So what's your guys' favorite animated movie?
Lion King, no doubt. The Lion King to this day is the greatest. Yeah, the greatest animated movie of all time, the greatest kids movie of all time.
Polar Express.
Polar Express, it was all right. I mean, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's solid. I think that's.
I'll give you mine.
To me, wait. I mean, behind the Lion King, let me give you a few more. Fox and the Hound.
Yeah,
good one.
101 Dalmatians.
Sad.
Yeah.
Mulan.
Mulan.
It's pretty good. Eddie Murphy was funny in that.
Yeah. No, wait. He was in Mulan.
He was the dragon.
Really? That's
you didn't
Eddie
know
Murphy?
that?
I didn't know that was Eddie Murphy.
Shrek.
That's a great one too. Yeah.
I'm gonna move to Disney. Toy Story, hands down.
Toy Story.
Took mine, honestly.
Toy Story's great.
Yeah.
You
Toy Story is my favorite.
I like the third one.
The third one might have actually. The third one was one of the
I cried.
few animated movies that could actually bring me closer. When it's toys almost meeting their death, and yet grown people are walking out of that movie with tears streaming down
Psycho
their
kid
eyes.
in the first one that just
Sid, who destroyed all
that
of his
dog.
toys. Oh my gosh. You put the toys under the magnifying
I'm
glass.
surprised
in the
that
sun.
dog wasn't
Sadistic
put
kid.
down.
Yeah.
The dog was vicious.
Yeah.
But Tom Hanks and Tim Allen in one movie, that was fantastic.
Mark, didn't
I
you
love
dress
Toy
up as
Story.
Woody for one Halloween?
Yes, I did.
And
Why
pulled
are
it
you
off.
giving secrets about me?
And pulled it off.
No, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course the Little Mermaid. I grew up with that too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a solid one. Not one of my favorites.
The one that I hate.
I loved Aladdin too. To be honest,
Aladdin.
Aladdin's a good one.
Toy Story 2. When
I actually
Jesse
watch that all the time when it's on ABC Family.
Yeah.
I look for it to be on.
What about the Disney Pixar stuff? I mean, the Pixar movies are great. Finding Nemo, Wall-E, one of my favorites too. I
want to see
these.
the second Finding Nemo. The Finding
coming
Dory.
out.
Finding Dory. I love Ellen. I love anything with Ellen. I'll watch,
Do you watch the Ellen show?
I do watch the Ellen show.
She's
great. Fantastic. Actually, recently,
have time to
on
watch
a recent show, this is a little off topic, but on a recent show, she had Wellesley PD. I'm from Wellesley, Massachusetts. She had Wellesley PD on because they just rescued a dog from falling into.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Saw that? My hometown, baby. Wellesley, Mass.
I saw that
Oh,
they
so
rescued
the
the
lives
dog.
of
I didn't
dogs.
see it on Ellen, but
So
It was
that's
on
why
Ellen.
you like it so much.
No. I've always
No,
loved
I
Ellen
know.
DeGeneres. She's fantastic.
No,
All right.
she's like the new Oprah, but a little better.
All right, next question.
What's weighing on my mind is how soon I can get a Bud Light in my mouth.
Fifth and final question. Since this is our first show at ESPN, I want you guys to think back to some of your favorite firsts in your lifetime. It could be first Red Sox game, first kiss, first dance. First time you saw Blue Man Group.
Oh, I
Like that.
just.
What's your first favorite?
Oh my gosh, my first time at Blue Man Group.
Really?
It was
That
over
happened
the
recently?
summer. Yeah, it was in July.
Great show, isn't it?
Oh my gosh,
I love Blue Man.
I just was like, I want to go in the front row and
Yeah.
just get a marshmallow.
Paint
Throw
all
it
over
in your mouth.
The fluorescent
Don't
paint
choke.
all over you.
Yeah,
Blue Man-
I just want to be there.
Blue men banging drums just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
They do more than that.
Oh, it's
They do
great.
a
Oh my
lot.
god,
Have you
you
seen
need
it?
to see
No.
that.
Oh,
my
it's so
gosh.
good. The
Yeah.
show is amazing.
That's that's my favorite.
Great
first.
show.
Oh.
Perfect date, honestly. If any of you people out there near the
Oh,
Child's Playhouse in Boston,
I went for my
you gotta-
birthday,
You gotta
and-
go on a date.
And my girlfriend didn't tell them it was my birthday, and I wanted to be on the word screen. I was like, oh,
That is sad.
I know.
It's Mark's birthday today. So
Yeah, Mark.
happy birthday, Mark.
birthday, by
Yeah,
the way.
thanks.
Yeah, happy birthday to
I
our
feel
co-host
bad.
Mark.
I was making fun of the Dolphins earlier.
No,
on your
that's
birthday.
okay.
No, you can't make fun of his
It
team
happens.
on his birthday.
It happens.
For me, I'd have to say my first trip to Fenway Park. I think I was about 5 or 6 years old. Just
Yeah.
walked in, I saw the monster. I was blown away. I fell in love with Fenway from day one. Been there probably like 2,000 times since. But
That's a lie.
okay, fine. That's called an embellishment, not literally 2,000 times. But yeah, been to Fenway. Obviously, I mean, like I'm 24 now. So when I was 6, that was, since then, obviously a lot of time to go to Fenway Park.
3
But
times a year.
more than that, 10, 12 times a year. But yeah, definitely the first time I went to Fenway Park.
I'm gonna be simple. It happened a couple of weeks ago. Going down to Miami,
Yeah.
I was in heaven. I mean, I went into the team store and I got a Brian Hartline jersey. I spent $120 on that jersey. I was like all for it. The seats were amazing. Every seat in that place is good. The fans were nuts. You got little Patriot fans in my section that were funny too. So just the atmosphere and the moment. It was inside the moment that got me, and they won the game. So that's icing on the cake.
There you go. By yourself, Brian. Favorite first, or was it Blue Man Group?
It was Blue Man Group.
Really?
Blue Man?
Yes.
It blew your mind that
Are
much?
you serious?
Wow.
That's your favorite
amazing.
first ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Is that the only concert you've been to?
Excuse me?
Well, it's like a show more than a
okay.
concert.
No. He went to the Jay-Z concert last summer, right?
I
didn't
went to all those concerts at Fenway since
Oh,
I worked
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Springsteen? He rocked it. He was at Fenway Park. Don't give me that look.
No, yeah, last year. Like, not this past year, but the year before that.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z came with Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah,
Was
and
that
then
the concert
before
you
that
went
was Jason Aldean, and then before that was Paul McCartney.
to? Wow. Yeah, we were talking about Paul McCartney on our second to last show, I think.
Yeah.
About when he was at the Brooklyn Nets game.
Right. And
he was trying to get a
he
T-shirt.
needed the T-shirt. and
He
he
was pretty
missed it.
angry.
Well, guys, that's 5 questions right there. It's one of my favorite segments. I hope everyone's looking forward to it going forward. Who's got it next week? Is it you,
That's
Aashish,
an interesting question. It might be Mark. I believe it's Mark.
So next week on Saturday.
Dave. Pass the torch.
I'm passing it right now.
There it is.
You can see it. We actually have a torch in here.
I'm
too.
going to Suki.
We've lit it.
I'm going to Suki.
Sochi. Are you gonna join Chara?
Yeah,
Chara, a couple other guys.
Because Chara might actually miss the last 2 games before the break because of the opening ceremonies.
Yes, he is. He is. That's confirmed that he is missing those games. And
Alex
Cam
Ovechkin
Neely,
probably
Cam
too,
Neely.
right?
I don't know if you guys heard Cam Neely, but he's not pleased.
It's because he's holding the torch for Slovakia.
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
flag.
Yeah.
He's waving the
That
flag.
makes
The flag
sense.
bearer. Yeah.
Got to be the biggest athlete coming out of there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
At least the tallest. One of them.
On skates,
Unless there's
he's
some
gonna be tall.
Slovakian
He's
basketball
massive.
players that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them.
You don't know any
Any-
Slovakian
no.
basketball players?
No.
No.
That's
And
information.
Usually I do know.
That-
and I
information
know
we
this.
should know
What
and be
was
relaying
what was
to people.
Kukoc? Tony Kukoc. He was Croatian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So never mind. My geography is not very
I don't
good.
even think they have. I don't even think they have an Olympic basketball team just because they don't have any players.
Yeah, it happens. That's why Germany can't play in the Winter Olympics this year. They don't have any players for their hockey team, unfortunately. Dennis Seidenberg would have played.
When is curling gonna air?
Brian, I knew you were going to bring up curling.
Can't wait for curling, my favorite Olympic sport. But I hope it's on at like 4 a.m.,
Yeah.
the late hours of the night when there's nothing else to watch. Throw on the curling match. It's honestly one of the most entertaining things I have ever watched.
But you can miss it, and I can miss it because we worked late hours.
It's true. Very true.
That's a tough call.
I'll DVR it for you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was 5 questions. As Dave mentioned, we do that every week, as well as other segments that will debut on our future shows. Don't go anywhere. We'll be coming back and talking about Rajon Rondo's return to the Garden floor after this.
What is Healthy Care? For those individuals without insurance or with high deductibles, Healthy Care is your new model for primary care insurance. If you want immediate access to medical care, then Healthy Care is for you. If you're unhappy with the high cost of health insurance, then Healthy Care is the answer. No copays, no insurance billing. You will have your own doctor and the flexibility over your level of coverage. If you're interested in changing the way you're insured, stop by the Executive Health and Sports Center in Manchester. Call 603-232-3662 or log on to healthycarenh.com. Healthy Care, better care for less.
The home team with Matt Perrault.
Football players do not move the same way as they do when it's 72 degrees and sunny, when it's, 4 degrees, 5 degrees. That's not fun. That's not how a Super Bowl should be played. You play in a pristine, beautiful environment where you see the best. You see the true athlete, the best team rise up, not the team that handles the elements the best.
This is the home of the home team with Matt Perrault, ESPN New Hampshire.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to keep harmful secondhand smoke out of our public spaces and workplaces. And fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. We're fighting for a day when kids no longer battle airborne poisons in their own homes or the fear of an asthma attack. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. Join us in the fight. Visit fightingforair.org and read about just a few of the many ways the American Lung Association is fighting to protect the air we breathe, both indoors and out. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
The New England Patriots are back in the AFC Championship. They will be taking on the Denver Broncos tomorrow. It will be the 15th time that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning will face off for their respective teams. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Following the AFC matchup will be the NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. That game begins at 6:30. New Celtics captain Rajon Rondo made his first appearance of the season for the Celtics last night, but the Green fell to the Lakers 107-104 at the TD Garden. Rondo finished with 8 points and 4 assists. The Boston Bruins are 2-3 in their last 5 games. They look to get back to their winning ways against a familiar foe on Sunday as they journey to Chicago to play the Blackhawks for the first time since losing Game 6 in last year's Cup final match. Face-off for Sunday's game is at 12:30. Those are your Blasted Weekend updates. Be sure to check out our website at www.sportsblast.co. Listen in on ESPN Radio or the ESPN Radio app. Like us on Facebook and tweet us at SportsBlastNH. Again, that's at SportsBlastNH. I'm David Pollard. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Blast continues right now.
Boston Celtics guard Rajon Rondo has suffered a torn ACL. He was initially injured in the Celtics loss Friday against Atlanta, then tried to go today against Miami, but in pregame warm-up suffered too much pain and decided not to go. Instead, he went to a New England area hospital. They thought he had a hyperextended knee, but the diagnosis, obviously, much worse.
When you suffered the injury, did you understand how bad it was at first? Or
I jumped up and made a pass. I didn't hear it pop. I just thought when I came down too early. I hyperextended my leg, but I thought I could play through it. Didn't know it was a season-ending injury.
So it's just so shocking.
It was shocking, frustrating, but like I said, I wanted to play against the Heat that day.
And that's the other guard, 6'1", from Kentucky, the captain, number 9, Rajon Rondo.
He's back. The much-anticipated return of newly minted captain Rajon Rondo. After tweeting earlier this week, guys, 29,233,380 seconds. A lot of people kind of got the hint.
I'm actually surprised he was able to calculate that.
He's one
Didn't
of those.
he have someone else
No.
calculate it for him?
There's things online where you can go and like punch in the number of days, and then it tells you.
Yeah.
Come on, Brian. It's the 21st
All
century.
denominations.
I
of
wanted him
60
to do that
anyway.
in his head, okay?
No, because you're the math. But we established on the last show on WXBR that Brian is the best of the four of us at math. So,
Yes.
I figured he went to Kentucky. He has to know something, right?
Well,
Sure.
maybe you learned something
If
under
you
Calipari.
went to college, you got to know math, right?
And then Sean Grandi of 98.5 The Sports Hub said that Rondo's stay with the Red Claws took 6,780 seconds.
Yeah, there you go.
So he can do math, too.
That's way too long. Should have been there like 5 seconds. Been like,
But
all right.
I do want to bring something up, guys, with regards to Rondo's return yesterday. When he was introduced as the captain, did that take anyone by surprise?
I was surprised.
I was a little surprised. I'm not going to
It
lie.
is surprising, yeah. I would say so. Is it very common to appoint a captain in the NBA?
I mean, you have your captains. Chris Paul is a captain. Kobe is a captain for the Lakers. You have Paul Pierce, who was the captain for however many years. From 2003 onwards, he was the sole captain. Before that, with Antoine Walker co-captain. So, yeah. But, a lot of people have questioned Rajon Rondo's ability to lead a group. At times he's a leader. At times he's been criticized of taking games off, games that are not on national television. He'll kind of slack off at times, but I think this kind of gives him a little bit of accountability.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have Tom Rowan here, our assistant producer. It looks like he wants to chime in on this
I
conversation.
told you guys when I was helping you out with your production stuff before the show, which, by the way, the show is going fantastic. Look forward to
Thank
seeing,
you.
hearing all of the shows in the future. I was shocked when I heard in your in the montage that you guys had there that Rondo was named the captain. I was out with my girlfriend, had no ability to watch the game or listen to the game, and hearing that he was named the captain kind of goes against everything that I believe when it comes to Rajon Rondo. For a while, guys, when it comes to Rondo, I have always thought to myself that this guy will be a piece in the future to build for the Celtics in another championship run, but he is not going to be the sole piece. He's not going to be the leader. I never thought Rondo could lead because he had that. I mean, it's not a knock on him. He's a bit of a selfish player. He's a bit of a, me guy first, you guys second. I just, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, the Celtics know more than I do and than we do when it comes to Rondo's personality and his ability to lead a basketball team. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. I mean, I don't think it's a smart move, but again, they know more than we do. This is a definite big moment for Rondo. He needs to realize that, to grow up and to truly be a leader. He won't be like a Paul Pierce was.
Yeah.
He won't be, I believe, anything special when it comes to being a leader. But right now the Celtics need a little guidance, and he's got to be the guy. He's got to learn to step it up and not be that selfish player or be that character that he was, when Pierce, Garnett, Allen were the ones leading this team. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't have faith in him as a leader, but he's proven me wrong many times before.
Was it Danny Ainge that named him captain?
I mean, it was someone in the organization. I have to imagine it was Danny Ainge because
I think it was Brad Stevens.
But Brad Stevens, when he came here, he made the notion that he said he doesn't believe in captains or captains make themselves. So
well, the thing is, like maybe there was a discussion with Rondo, like
who knows?
Well, see, here's
maturity.
My school of thought after what Tom just mentioned is that maybe the Celtics organization has two things they could potentially be thinking about. One is that if Rajon Rondo is the me guy that everyone says he is, perhaps this is sort of the way to cater to that because they know that making him the captain.
Well,
maybe
I guess he's not being traded.
Puts an extra
then,
chip on his shoulder.
I was just going to
on the flip side of things too, maybe it is to motivate him to be a better leader because maybe they know he's not really there yet.
He's got
and
a
they
nice
want him to pick
and
that
young
up.
team around him.
Just to echo what Brian just mentioned, I know I was talking about Rondo and how they're going to showcase him for a trade. I don't want to read too much into this, but maybe now that he's been named the captain, it's Danny Ainge saying, look, we're willing to make a long-term commitment to you. He's going to be a free agent after next year, but who knows? Maybe now we
like
maybe
look at what they have right now: Kelly Olynyk, Jared Sullinger. Gerald Wallace will probably be traded because he's not happy with his minutes, and there's Avery Bradley.
Right, and the Celtics are in a good position. Look, they have a lot of guys coming off the books. They have Rondo signed through next year.
They could have a top 5 draft pick.
They could have a top 5 draft pick if they continue to lose and tank.
Jabari Parker.
They could have multiple draft picks in the first round. My thing with Rondo is he's 7 years in the NBA. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett overshadowed Rondo, so Rondo didn't have a chance to be himself. He didn't have that chance to have leadership because Paul Pierce had that leadership. Kevin Garnett had that leadership. Who are you going to go to now on the team for leadership? Jeff Green? No, I don't think Jeff Green's the type of leader.
He's not a leader.
Well, Rajon Rondo, the thing about Rajon Rondo, he speaks his mind. He speaks his mind, and that's what you need out of a leader. You need to step up. You need to make
Rondo,
your voice heard.
Isn't he the oldest one? Well,
yes.
Of the people who've been around on the Celtics for a while. He's the oldest.
Yeah, it's a young team.
Yeah,
it's
7 years.
Team.
7 years in the league. He's 27 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to kind of continue off what you guys are saying, he's got a year after this one left on his contract. If they're not going to trade him, if this is Danny Ainge saying, look, we are willing to make a long-term commitment, then they need to sign him to an extension. Don't let him hit the open market and build around him. Go out and get free agents because you're going to get a little bit of salary cap flexibility. You might be able to pull off a trade. I know Kevin Love is unhappy in Minnesota. If you can bring him in, get a top 5 draft pick, who knows? You could make a real powerhouse here.
And that's what I think Danny Ainge is trying to do. Especially with all the news of the draft has been coming, like the news about the draft recently. At the beginning of the season, the college basketball season, everybody said this is a stock draft, a freshman-led draft, the most talented draft that we've seen in a long time. And now everybody's coming out. Now that you've seen these guys in consistent action, Andrew Wiggins is starting to not impress people as much anymore. Jabari Parker has fallen off tremendously from the draft boards. Julius Randle seems to be the one consistent guy, but he has a lot of flaws in his game when it comes to the defensive side. I think the way that Danny Ainge is approaching this now is, how he approached it in 2007 and acquiring Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. I think that, but this time he has more assets to work with. People need to realize that guys like outside of Rajon Rondo, now with the captain tag, because I believe that. I think Rondo is now officially a Boston Celtic for life or for at least the next 3 to 4 years. If you name a guy like that and you plan to make him or signify him as the leader for now, then you're having him being the leader for the next few years. You've got a guy like Jared Sullinger who can play the 4, maybe the 5, but his natural position now is obviously power forward. You got that set up for you. Avery Bradley has really shut up a lot of people and playing a 2-guard spot. He's not a bad point guard, but his natural position is the 2-guard, and he's learning to shoot the ball very well, learning to be a very, very consistent shooter. You've got pieces in place. You've got a good backcourt, a very solid backcourt with those 2 guards. You've got Sullinger at the power forward, so really all you need is a star level, talented level, 3 spot, and obviously you need a center to build around that. The way it's looking, why not Danny Ainge pile up a bunch of draft picks, a bunch of assets, and go after Kevin Love? Go after some sort of other player. It would be like Danny Ainge to go after another Timberwolf, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
With the Kevin Garnett deal. But
Kevin McHale's not there anymore.
Kevin McHale's not there anymore, absolutely. But still, it's still this. Right now the draft does not look like, okay, it's not the franchise caliber draft that we all thought it was. It wasn't the, in 2003, you draft Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. You're drafting franchise caliber guys. That's not that draft anymore. These guys are definite role players. And say you do draft a Andrew Wiggins or Jabari Parker, you could fill them into that 3 spot, but they're not the key guy. Right. Rondo has become the key guy, but you need another guy to help him out. You need that combo. You need at least two guys, a Pippen Jordan, if you will, or what the Celtics had with the big three. You've got that in Sullinger and Rondo. You need just one more piece.
Gordon Hayward. That's who I would go
right.
after.
Either the center position and trading for Kevin Love, or you go in the draft and you get a guy like Jabari Parker that'll still be a role player. He'd be the lesser of the three, but still the mindset is trade now, don't really draft for the future, trade for the future.
Yeah, and the Celtics have the pieces, as Tom mentioned. They have Sullinger, Kelly Olynyk's look good, Jeff Green still under contract, Avery Bradley, Rajon Rondo. They don't have a championship caliber team right now, today, but if they go out and they make the right moves and they draft well and they acquire certain role players, get a deep bench, this is a team that could become a powerhouse in a weak Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'm surprised they traded both Jordan Crawford and Marshawn Brooks.
Not at all. I mean, Jordan Crawford is a guy who's not going to take kindly to
I'm just
being
talking
relegated
about
to the bench.
Brooks started to look good in the D League, and he started.
The D League.
That's the D League,
Brian.
30 points in the D League.
In the D League
equals
10,
should
12
equal
points.
to a lot of points.
12 points.
Yeah,
in the NBA.
That's good off the bench.
That's good off the bench, but I mean
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
you
Golden
said
State,
a deeper bench.
No, but here's what I'm looking at. Golden State probably wanted a sweetener. They said, "We'll take Jordan Crawford, who's absolutely amazing, but we also want Brooks." Danny Ainge is like, "Fine, take him." Because Jordan Crawford, to me, you have to move him. He's not going to take kindly. He's not going to take kindly to losing his job and going to the bench.
I understand the Jordan Crawford.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
Well, he was the leading scorer for the Celtics.
He was. I like Jordan Crawford a lot.
Yeah.
He still can't handle the.
Yeah, he can't handle the
No.
No.
But going back to what Tom said, Rondo is the superstar of this team, as Kevin Garnett was with the big three. Paul Pierce, he was like the second guy behind Kevin Garnett, and then Ray Allen. If you get a guy like Gordon Hayward, he's going to be the third guy. Rondo's going to be the superstar. Kevin Love could actually be, in Kevin Garnett's spot, but he might be in Paul Pierce's spot. And the three that they have going, if they do acquire both those guys, they have something to build in the future. But I also think, back to your point, Jared Sullinger, Avery Bradley, and all of them, they're all expendable to me. Because if you want to package up some of the guys and some of the picks for a superstar, you are going to have to give up talent.
Yeah.
And going back to Jabari Parker and Andrew Wiggins and Randall, they are going to be good in a couple of years. And that's why I think they should stay in college basketball because they can build.
I don't get why the freshmen just leave.
One and done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you know you're going to be a first-round pick in the NBA draft, you're going to go.
It's enticing.
Well, yeah, because all that money. Yeah,
that's just the mindset, and it's absolutely what I was trying to get to. I disagree though with the Sullinger point. I think what I was trying to get to earlier, Rondo and Sullinger are the untouchables of this team right now. Unless it's an absolute out-of-this-world deal for both those players, separately or together, you're not trading those two because those two can be your cornerstones. Those two can be the guys you build around, whether you go for, like a Jordan-Pippen combo or you go for an all-star three combo like they did with Garnett, Pierce, and Allen back in 07 and 08. Everybody else in this team, though, I absolutely agree, is expendable. Everybody here is expendable.
Oh, yeah.
Except with Rondo and Sullinger because what they show, what they bring to the positions that they play at,
Sullinger
you
is
can't
so
really
good
find
right
that.
now.
I mean, Sullinger is developing.
And the rookies.
And the right. Olynyk, I would hope Olynyk has a future on this team, but again, he's expendable as well if the deal benefits the Celtics in the long term. And that's the end of the day. That's what the next year or maybe next year as well is going to lead to. Next year, you could probably have a deep run in the playoffs. I'm not talking Eastern Conference Finals, but you can have a semifinals, team with the Boston Celtics. But the next few years is all about just finding the pieces and putting them all together and meshing them and having those guys mesh with guys like Sullinger and Rondo. Everybody else, though, that includes Jeff Green, that includes Avery Bradley, they're all expendable. It is all about building for the future, and that's what they are. Outside of those two players, everybody else is an asset.
You also can't trade rookies. So Kelly Olynyk is actually untradeable right now. But as he gets a new contract within the next year or so, he will be. And he'll be good. I really think Kelly Olynyk has a lot of talent. Going back to Jared Sullinger, though, I agree with you in the end. Jared Sullinger does have that it factor to perform in the NBA, grabbing rebounds and points.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, I want to ask you now, because we keep revisiting this over the course of this season. You a fan of the tank job yet? Do you want them to tank, or do you like the fact that Rajon Rondo's come back and now perhaps they can make a little bit of a playoff run?
See, the tank job situation is overrated for me. I really think it's losing with a purpose.
Okay.
So you have
so tank, basically, but
yeah, but no, tanking is just to lose every game.
Right.
And honestly, I don't think they'll lose every game. I think they'll lose every other game and try to build the winning mentality moving forward.
Okay.
But you're in the Eastern Conference, and the Eastern Conference is garbage this year.
True,
it's pure garbage.
Very true.
Yeah,
so if you have Rondo can win you a couple of games here and there.
All right.
We were talking about the Toronto Raptors, a 3 seed right now in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Wow.
That just shows how bad they are.
Ridiculous.
It's
Very
absolutely
bad.
awful.
I like the thought of selective losing, though. I mean, that's a good way of putting it. Rather than it doesn't sound as bad as tank job. You know, selective losing.
All right, well, anyways, Major League Baseball has implemented a new challenge system starting this year. We'll come back and talk about that right after this quick break. ESPN New Hampshire.